Everyone, this is Charles Van Morgan. We'll wait till some people come in. Good morning, good morning. Give you a few minutes for people to get in. Thank y'all, Charles Van Morgan. We're doing unbridled news this morning. We've got a bunch of things to talk about. And we waited a little bit later to go live because we want a little sunlight, we want a little daylight. And we'll give y'all a minute or two, as long as you need to get in. Again, this is Charles Van Morgan. We'll go over this again, but kind of noisy out here. But we're making our way to the illustrious, one of only 3 bridges to cross Knoxville, Tennessee. The Gay Street Bridge is closed. The Henley Street Bridge. Making our way to the Henley Street Bridge. We're not parked in the taxi space because we have a right to, because we don't want to deal with the hassle from the government. Our lawful right, something we pay for, they're taking it away. That's the way they do. The people in power are crooked as hell. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And we're going to talk about why you should listen to me. I got some interesting stories to tell you. So it is Tuesday morning. Labor Day's over. Back to work. So hello, Charles Van Morgan. YouTube Live, just as I promised. Wait for people to come on in. It may take a few minutes. They got a few clicks to go. Because, incidentally, we don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So it takes just a second to get in. So you can help us by subscribing and liking, sharing. Get us up to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting close, getting a bunch every day. Trying to build up this channel. We're here. My lane is talking about government corruption. I'm going to turn this around, show y'all what I'm doing here. So here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, we are YouTube Live, Charles Van Morgan, headed to the Gay Street Bridge. Come on board. Got a bunch of interesting things to tell you this morning. We'll talk about a little dirty government, corruption. And from Knoxville, Tennessee, Charles Van Morgan. Come on board. Here's the sign we're holding up. Fraud elections. We're still here. And Morgan governor 2026, a question mark. We're not declaring, because if we declare, we gotta start recording donations where they come from, and also we're not sure I'm running. We'll see what happens. I don't know. We might not. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for almost nothing. Sometimes it's not really nothing they think it is. There's more to elections than just running for office and winning. There's a lot more to it than that, and I'll explain it to you. I'll explicate it to you. So come on board. Let's see if we got anybody on. Okay, yeah, we're starting to get some people on board. Charles Van Morgan, to show you what we're doing here. We're holding up our little sign here. We're on Chapman Highway, headed to the Henley Street Bridge. So yeah, let's see here. And the government can't do nothing about this. It's called freedom of speech. It's protected under the First Amendment. It's the most protected form of speech. It's called freedom of speech. And it's the most protected. It's political speech. So it's protected against the government. The government can't stop it. And they have some ways they can legally. There's time, place, and manner restrictions for, like, you can't knock on people's doors, political speech, except for between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So if you do it after 9, they can restrict time, place, and manner. That's a time restriction. So, but we're on a public sidewalk, and there's no restriction. Now, there is noise restrictions in the city of Knoxville, but I ain't got an amplifying system. But The First Amendment protects political speech, and it doesn't protect political speech from right down here, say Dunkin' Donuts. The First Amendment doesn't protect political speech from Dunkin' Donuts because one of the first prongs of the Constitution, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third, Fourth, Fifth, is it has to be a government actor. The Constitution in the United States of America protects us from government actors. So a private individual can't violate your constitutional rights. Now, there are some situations that it can. If it's acting as a government entity, same thing. Like these small towns that people buy land, build houses. If they're doing the same thing the government does, even though they're a private company, they could still be held accountable according to case law as the government. So, but basically you have to have government action. That's why I explained to the two police officers the other day, to being sarcastic, which, you know, they told me there's nothing they can learn from me. There was a lot, but because they were police officers, they were government actors. The man that was complaining on me, that was acting all hostile, and they were saying I wasn't, he was. They said I was wasting their time. I didn't call them. The man from the Hilton called them. So they flipped things around, saying I'm wasting their time. They were wasting my time. I didn't call them. It's on another video if you want to watch it. Charles Van Morgan, live from Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm going to talk about why you should listen to me today, and what we're about, and a few intricacies about what we're talking about, some important things. And but the government, they were tying up my time, and that's the first thing about the government is violating the Constitution. And I understand I'm being listened to all over the world, Australia, Canada. Thank you all. God bless you all. I pray. Thanks for coming in. Let's see if we can get by here without getting run over. There you go. Guys are getting ready to go to work. So it has to be government action. That's why I told those police officers sarcastically, but it's the truth. It's something I knew before when I was in law enforcement. When somebody makes a complaint, and police officers listen to this, might save you some trouble. I have a doctor of jurisprudence. A police officer, I ain't got to learn nothing for you. Have you sat through 4 years of law school, a lifelong of being in court? You might want to listen, you dumb young idiot. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, but he didn't want to think that. But anyway, when a police officer takes a complaint from a third party sicks a police officer on you. They say, he did this over here, he did that. I'm talking about misdemeanor stuff like they said I was violating a parking law, which I wasn't. I know the rules, read them. That's why if you're a lawyer, you ought to know the rules. Well, I do. That's why, and you don't. That's why I'm not moving voluntarily. If you order me to leave, then I'll complain about it. But another police officer warned me about the new officers. That some of them are crazy, and they are. The way to watch out for them is the ones in the newer cars. They're the older officers. They give them the new cars, and they're pretty safe. They won't hurt you unless you try to hurt them. They'll talk reasonable to you. They ain't got no ego going on. They want to get through their day, get their check, make it to retirement. They're not trying to make a name for themselves or anything. And they're smart people. They've handled thousands and thousands of calls, and it's not nothing personal to them. They're just doing their job. They'll talk to you like a human being. But these new guys out here, man, they just come out of their dumbass academies and they act like nuts and don't know the law and think they're smarter than everybody because they got a little power. Well, I got a little power too. It's called a JD, and it's an ink pen, and know how to use it. But when somebody sicks the police on you, the police officers, listen to this. Get the complainant's information, all their information. Get their name, address, phone number. Get where they work at. Be able to locate them. Because I tell you what happens. Please. So you just know this. They sick you on somebody because they're mad about something. Rightfully or wrongly. Most of the time it's wrongly. So they call the police on you. And here's what happens legally. So the police act on what their witness is telling them. Like in my case, they were acting on a no parking, taxi only parking space was not for a taxi. That's what they were going by, what he said, because it said no parking at the top. Wow. Yeah, no parking for anybody else, including his corporate buses, because they're not taxis. But parking for taxis only. And they were going by what he said. That no parking sign meant no taxis either. Even though right below that, it said taxi parking only. But he liked that top sign because that got me out of there and got his buses in there. But that's not what the sign said. Meant nobody else could park there. But so he sicks the police on me. They come down there and told me they were going to tow your car, and he's all fired up and tell me to go out there, call me on the phone, tell me to move my taxi. They're going to tow it. And I told him who I was. I don't care who you are. And I got there and I told him I don't care who you are. I want your badge, name and badge number. So for a complaint later. So they sick law enforcement on me. That guy does, acting disorderly in a public place. And then they say I am because I'm defending myself. Saying that, no, that's not true, and telling the truth. And they're making fun of me. I ain't got nothing to learn from you. Well, okay, idiot. Yeah, I bet you couldn't make it in law school. But anyway, get their name. Officers get their name, their address, where they work, be able to track them down. Because what happens is they make a bogus complaint. You act on their bogus complaint. Their complaint is false. What they're saying is not true. And the person that you arrested is innocent because you listen to some bozo. You listen to some bozo and you violate somebody's constitutional rights. But you know what? A private citizen can't violate your constitutional rights. It's on you. It's on you, brother. You're the one holding the bag, because 9 times out of 10, you can't find the witness. Where'd he go? Where'd the witness go that said he did all this? They ain't nowhere around. And the person ain't suing them. They're not suing the bozo that sicked you on them. They're suing you. You're the one that's going to be held accountable because you're the government actor. So you better be careful what bozo tells you to do. You better think twice and tell him, now wait a minute. They're not going to sue you. They're going to sue me because they can't sue you for constitutional violations. You're a private citizen. Citizens can't violate your constitutional right. The first prong of a constitutional violation, ask a federal judge, they know, has to be a government actor. So you act on that bozo. That's why I told those, go get his name, address, where he lives, everything you can get out of him. Because when I sue you, you're going to need him as a witness. I'm not suing him if you can find him. So I'm just telling you the way it is. That's the way cops do. You better see stuff your damn self. And you better read, interpret the rules yourself instead of listening to some corporate idiot that doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, that's angry and acting disorderly. So let's see how many people I got in here. We're going to talk about a few things. Why should you listen to me? I done mentioned one, and we're going to talk about some more. Thank y'all for joining me. Charles Van Morgan out here on walking up to the Henley Street Bridge this morning. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here walking up to the Henley Street Bridge. We got our sign out here holding it to the public. I'm not shy. Live now, fraud elections. We're still here, getting a lot of attention at freedom of speech on a public sidewalk. And which brings me to my other point is, you know, that election they claim that we lost. Get past this noisy truck. Well, it's going to get past me. That election they claim we lost, where I ran for city council, there were 2 goals in that election. I know how dirty the government is. I'm not under any illusion of how hard it is to beat their proxy, their lies and criminal conduct. So there were 2 prongs to that campaign. 2 very well thought out, organized organized goals to the campaign. The first one was try to win. I legitimately tried to win. See, look at all those people looking at my sign. Me wave at them here. Let's see if we can wave at them. Wave at them. Give them my I love you hand signal. Yeah, I'm not shy. It's called freedom of speech. I got a degree in sociology. I ain't got to go along with the program. I don't like their program. Their program don't work for me. And the government's program ain't going to work for you either, let me tell you. You get some breadcrumbs. And I appreciate all these people in these foreign countries. Follow me. Thank you. God bless you. I know you got problems there too. We might help you straighten out their problems too. Right now, we're straightening out the problems in the state of Tennessee. So thank you. Come on board. So coming up on the Henley Street Bridge, an excellent place to campaign and fulfill the second prong of the campaign. The first one was to win the election if I could. I knew it'd be hard. I wasn't under any illusion. That's why I didn't try to take a lot of money off people. The second prong is what I'm doing now, is get a mega voice, get attention, build up my YouTube page, build up my Facebook page, build up public attention to shine a spotlight. And let the cops see. There's an undercover cop, I think. You can always tell by, if they got government plates, it's a dead giveaway. But to build up my public influence was the second prong. Now, they said I got 59 votes. I got 59 votes. I got more than that, I think. I don't think they counted them. There's also, they put out a lot of negative publicity. And that was the second prong, to build up my YouTube page, my online presence. And this thing's blew up. Thank you all. God bless you all so very much. I appreciate it. Like, share, comment. Let me know you got any questions. And let's let this thing take off. It's already taken off. In the past week, we've got more than 20,000 views. So that was the second prong. 59 votes, yeah, right. Thousands and thousands of views. Let's look, see what we got right now. Yeah, it's blowing up. Charles Van Morgan Live. So that was the second prong of this of the campaign. The first one, I wouldn't say was unsuccessful. I pointed out how biased these dirtbag people in government power are, how biased the state-run media is. But so that we did that by they're rigging an election, and showed you how WVLT told me to get off their property. We'll get off their property and get off their channel. Wicked Line News channel. So the second prong was to build up my YouTube presence and bring a spotlight to the issue of dirty people in government power step over bodies to maintain their power. So let's get into what I wanted to talk about today, which is why should you listen to me? Well, I did a lot of work to build up an online presence. Knocked on 6,000 doors just in the past 3 months. Called over 3,000 people on the phone, voters. And in the prior years before that, I knocked on thousands and thousands of doors when I ran for a public office for governor. All over the state, got votes in every county. So I've definitely tried to build up my presence and influence for the good. When I was a trooper, I led the state in getting people off the road that were dangerous to you by hard work, dedication, and effort. Very successful at that. And now I've been very successful at building up this page. So you should listen to me, because I've worked hard for it. It ain't given to me. Ain't nothing ever been given to me or you. Nothing won't be given to you if you're a regular citizen. And if you do get stuff, they'll take it away from you. They'll try to take it away from you. So yeah, we're building up. Like, share, comment, bring a lot of people in. even if you do get something that you've earned, the government will take it away from you. And that's why we're out here, to fight that. Give us what we deserve and get off our planet. Or get out of our government offices anyway. So you should listen to me. The work I've done to build up my presence, months and months, years out here talking and telling people how dirty the government is. And it turns out that's not a hard sell. A lot of people know the government's dirty. They just don't know what to do about it. And I'll tell you what to do about it. Get registered and vote. And vote them out. Talk about them. Talk about them to your friends. Call them out by name, the crooked that they do. The other reason you should listen to me is because, and this is low on the list, there's people without any education that are smarter than me, but I have a advanced level degree, a doctor of jurisprudence. I'm a doctor in the law. And also, I have a Master of Arts from this great University of Tennessee. I hope I don't lose a lot of people going over my education. In criminology, sociology, so I've learned a few insightful facts about how dirty people maintain their power by making themselves look legitimate when they're more crooked than a street criminal. A person in public office is more crooked than a street criminal because a street criminal goes in and robs a bank and takes money, scares the hell out of people with a gun. Usually won't hurt people if they give him the money. And he gets off with several $1 million and goes and lives in the Bahamas if he's smart. The problem with bank robbers, they keep doing it and eventually get caught. But they never swore to uphold the law. They're just a thug. They broke the law and they're just worthless. They won't work. But you know what about people in government office? And those government offices right over there, see that government office, that courthouse building? Yeah, we're built up to 89. You know what's worse about them? And see, I learned this from an advanced level degree. It's called suit crime as opposed to street crime. You know why they're worse? These government officials are worse than a street thug that even robs a bank? Because they do more harm, number one. The second thing is they have sworn to uphold the law. They swear an oath when they take office that they swear to uphold the Constitution, and they swear to help the public to fulfill their office. They raise their hand, swear that under American flag. Soldiers died so they can stand there and do that. And then they go and they do stuff that's deadly to people, that kills people. And they don't care as long as it keeps them in power. They'll step over bodies to maintain that crooked power. I never did that, never would do that. That's what they do. It's common across all countries. These people fight for limited resources that are on the earth. They compete for them. And when they get power, they legitimize themselves illegitimately to try to maintain power and do crooked stuff. So these suit criminals, people in public offices, are more dangerous than a bank robber. Literally, much more. They do more social harm. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to freak some people out, but crime, you know what we call crime, bank robbery, or maybe smoking marijuana, is a social construct. It may or may not be harmful to society. People in power call what crime is. They construct it for their own benefit. If it's something that takes their power away, they call it a crime. If it's something that legitimizes them, even if it's harmful, they'll say that's not a crime. Crime should be what's harmful to society, but it's not. It's a social construct by people in power in that courthouse over there that own the courthouse. They tell you what crime is. Crime is anything that might put them or their family members or their proxy out of power. That's what crime is. Has nothing to do with what might kill you. If it might kill you and it's beneficial to them, they don't give a damn. That's what goes. Their conscience is seared. And that's what we're fighting. I know that because that's another reason you should listen to me. My education, and like many of you, probably one of the reasons you're following me, some of you think I'm funny. Yeah, you laugh right before you fall over from the round, not literal, but this ain't funny. This ain't a game. It's real life, the real deal, liberty or death, not necessarily mine. That's the other reason you should listen to me, is I used to be part of the government. I used to be a part of the government for about 20 years. I was a Tennessee state trooper. I cared about human life. So you should listen to me because of experience. It's a turning point in my life. Even a crooked reporter got it right. It was a turning point in my life. When I was out doing everything I could, risking my life to save people on the roads. I seen little innocent children killed, dead in cars. The culprit was drunk driving. I wasn't on a mission to maintain my power. I was on a mission to lower the fatality rate. Not extravagantly, it wasn't that hard. You just do your job every day. Go to work and do your job and remember how important it is. I even said at one time that my supervisor's degree, Peyton Manning was playing in a pro football game. You know, he's here from the University of Tennessee. See that great university over there? Peyton Manning was playing football, quarterbacking. You know the fanfare he got? He's playing in the NFL. He played his college career here. Oh, he was very popular for throwing a football, which is great. It helps the economy. I love football. Most people do. But football is nowhere near as important as getting a drunk driver off the road. You don't get the fanfare. You don't get the millions of dollars, but you're saving lives. And what we were doing and what you're doing as troopers is much more important than if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Any officer, do what you're supposed to be doing. It's much more important than being a football player and throwing a little football around, which I love football, don't get me wrong. But that's the reason you should listen to me, is because of experience, life experience. While I was out saving lives, because I seen people dead, and I knew I could stop it, and I did. Almost single-handedly, I reduced the fatality rate. In 2011, it was lower. 2010, it was lower because I was out on the road making hundreds of drunk driving arrests, not mistreating people, for their own safety and protection. And, I wanted them to get convicted of the crime, but I didn't want it to affect their entire life like they do now. It affects their entire life if you're one of them, if you're one of us, if you're one of the people in government power. They get it dismissed, not on their record, and go on. They want breaks for them. I want breaks for everybody. So trust me, because my experience while I was out risking my life for public safety, saving lives, they fired me and defamed me, lying on me because of change of regime. And let's see how many people I got in here. Okay, yeah, I got a bunch. And the fatality rate skyrocketed in Knox County across the state of Tennessee. Went astronomically higher. To this day, 2025, it's 45% higher. By the toe tags they count. You know, they count toe tags. There's a lot of statistics hard to figure. But when you go to the county corner, when you go to the county coroner's office and somebody was involved in a drunk driving wreck, either as a victim or the drunk driver themselves, and you count the bodies, then it's an accurate count. You know, one body, drunk driving wreck, two bodies, drunk driving wreck, three bodies, you count the toe tags. You can number them. So it's an accurate count. And according to the Knox County coroner, you can look it up, drunk driving fatalities have went up 45%. There's 45%, and that's just a number percent. There's 45% more dead bodies laying there. The bad thing about it is some of them are children. You think this Knox County prosecutor gives a rat's ass about that? No. I was doing something about it. They took me off the road to maintain the power. Sharman Tissue Allen Wow, boy, what a brave heart soul. Yeah, what a wonderful politician trying to hang on to their power, stepping over damn bodies. That's literally what they do. That's not a joke. Numbers don't lie. Especially in the county coroner's office. One little kid, one little baby child, two little baby childs. But Sharman Tissue Allen's still over that damn dirty courthouse over there. Sound like me speaking the truth. I can prove it. That's right. So that's another reason that you should listen to me, is because of experience with the government. They're dirty as hell, stepping over bodies to maintain their power. And if you don't go along with the program, and if you protect the public like you're supposed to, then they'll defame you. Oh, they got power, they'll destroy you. They'll call it daylight when it's dark. That's literally, and they'll get a judge to go along with it, and it's legitimate. See, that's how they make it legitimate. If a judge agrees with it, it's a sheriff's deputy. Come over here and stomp me, big boy. Yeah, dirty sheriff's department. Yeah, if they can make it, they can get a judge to sign off on it, then they can say it's legitimate. Makes it look legitimate when they get a dirty judge that agrees when they go along with the program, doesn't it? I mean, you got a judge, it must be the truth. That's absolutely false. That's a fallacy. These judges in Tennessee are some of the most crooked judges. They're the most crooked judges, not some of the most crooked judges in the state of Tennessee, or Tennessee judges. Step over bodies to maintain the power of the governor. See, the governor promotes judges. The Christian governor in Tennessee, he promotes judges. So if they want to get promoted and a ruling comes before them where it's in favor or against the governor, what the governor wants, one that rules against the governor, you think the governor's going to promote him, the dirty governor that got elected because he's a Christian? Yeah, right. Ain't nothing Christian about that man. Ain't nothing Christian about him. He's a dirtbag. He's a thug. He's a crook. He's a criminal. He's a fraud. That's Governor Bill Lee, a plumber's butt. And he just promoted a woman after he knew to the major with the Tennessee Highway Patrol that he knew is committing she's stealing valor, saying she was part of the 1175th Army National Guard, retired. She never served a day, Stacey Heatherly. And he promoted her. I told him, hey, look at this, she's stealing valor, it's a crime. Speaking at women's conferences for law enforcement with the THP emblem, saying that she was part of the military. You know, that's prestigious to be part of the military. I honor military people. So she's getting that honor from soldiers that have died without even serving a day in the military. What a liar, what a crock of... I mean, that's just horrible. I know military people, they're angry about that. They had bullets flying over their head. They deserve to be called veterans. And then she never served a day in the Army National Guard and claims that she was. What a liar. And then Governor Bill Lee, the lying fraud thug, promotes her because I'm out here telling the truth about her, so he wants to say it doesn't matter what he says. Look, she's good. If the government promotes you, you're good, right? That's how they get legitimacy. See, I know a little bit about sociology. Don't listen to a damn word they say. It's probably the exact opposite. So you should listen to me because of my education, because of my experience in knowing how the government does. And one day we'll go over how dirty Tennessee judges are and have fun while we're doing this. So that's the reason why you ought to listen to me. I know what I know. And let me see how many people's on here now. Wow, okay. Okay, it goes up and down. And so get out of here when I start talking about the government, judges being crooked. They are. That was a turning point in my life. And let's talk about people say, well, you say you're a Christian. You're going against the government. What are you going to do with Romans chapter 13? Romans, where it says to obey those in power. Well, what about, remember a man named Lester Roloff? He was a man in Corpus Christi, Texas, that had a home for children. Had a child's home for children. Okay, we got a lot in here now. Yeah, wow, man, it went skyrocketing. So he had a home for children, Lester Roloff. And we're explaining what we're doing with Romans chapter 13, where it says to obey the government. And people say, you claim to be a Christian, Mr. Morgan, and you're saying the government's crooked. What about Romans chapter 13? So, a bunch of zombies out here. But what about Romans chapter 13, where it says to obey the power, the government? Okay. Lester Roloff had homes for children in Corpus Christi, Texas, orphans and a woman's home and a men's home, and zombies. And he had a home for children, and the government shut his homes down, put him in jail because he wouldn't follow the state's rules. He went to and I'll post the link about Lester Roloff's story look at this traffic, because they closed down the Gay Street Bridge. It is unreal, the traffic here. Closed down, what does it say? But yeah, look at this traffic, closed down the Gay Street Bridge. But I'll post a link to his videos where he's talking about how the government did him wrong. And it's talking about Romans 13, where, the Bible tells us, God tells us to obey the higher power. And that's what he said. What are you going to do about Romans 13? He said, you're the lower power. God's the higher power. And they tried to force rules on him about his home for children, the state of Texas. And he didn't want to obey some of them, had to do with rules that he had to follow that he didn't think were Christian, so he wouldn't do it. And they put him in jail for it, closed down his home for children. And that's what he said. People said, why can't you just go along and follow the rules? And he said, and do like everybody else does. That's what people say to me. Why can't you just go along, Van, and follow the rules and do what everybody else does? Well, let me tell you something. I was even following the rules. I followed their rules. I went to their law schools. I passed their bar. I followed their rules, and they're blackballing me. They're blackballing me. So it doesn't even matter with me following the rules. And I got a higher power. God Almighty, that hears the helpless. And let me tell you that, he'll hear y'all too. If you're helpless because of government power, pray about it. God hears the helpless. God, people that are powerful, they don't pray. They don't need God. They got the government. But people that are helpless, and there's verses in the Bible that talk about helping the fatherless and the widow and the stranger. So, when all else fails, and before all else fails, pray about stuff. God hears. God listens to you. We've got a high, mighty, powerful God that helps people, and he'll help you and show you the way to fight. Just because it's overwhelming odds, just ask Daniel, in the lion's den. And there's all kinds of stories about underdogs. So yeah, we follow the higher power. And Lester Roloff went on to campaign against the governor in Texas and got him kicked out of office. So we're campaigning against the governor in Tennessee. He's term limited. His ass ought to be impeached. And he ought to be exposed for the dirty creep he is, transvestite, wearing dresses, and running as a Christian, covering that up, saying we're conflating. Well, you were in a dress that we have in a high school yearbook. That's not conflating anything. Your lieutenant governor is flirting with young men on the internet. I mean, wow. And they're Christian. You know why they say they're Christian? Because they know a lot of people will vote for them if they say that. Because there's a lot of good people in Tennessee. It's not your fault. You've been lied to. Let me look at this other stuff here. See how many people. Wow, we got a bunch of people on board here. And so we went over the 2 goals. We need to get registered to vote. And let's talk about Hello? Oh, boy, people. And they don't like protesters. They should like me because I'm not a protester. They shouldn't like the government. But let's talk about Sergeant Johnson with the THPP. He ties into my experience with the state. So if you go to law school, and a lot of people know this too, they teach you to read over everything, look at everything, analyze it, think about it. And that's what the public should do. What the government tells you, think about what they're telling you. Does it make sense? They teach you that skill in law school. You know, critical thinking. So yeah, do we have, yeah, no. So yeah, critical thinking. So let's talk about Sergeant Johnson with THP. You know, in the THPP. In the Highway Patrol, they get promoted for lying. If you lie for the powers that be, now remember this about your government, if you lie for the powers that be, even under oath, you swear to tell the truth. Remember I said these government thugs are worse than citizens? That's because they commit crimes, sue crime, government crimes, because they are. They do more social harm than a street criminal does. Let's put their asses in jail. So use my language or don't. Let's see if we got another. Excuse me. Hello. I don't like my sign. So yeah, y'all show me some love. But there'll be people honking here in a minute. People out here love me, I hope. If they don't, I don't care. You got to stand against the grain. That's part of my education in sociology. I could care less what idiots think. Wow, boy, almost a wreck there. But Sergeant Johnson, and then we'll close. I want to cover this, you know, part of my experience and how not to trust the government. They even lie under oath. They raise their hand. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. And then lie for the government. And when he did that, he got rid of the trooper. It made more arrests than anybody in the state. Protected children. But he didn't care about that. He's protecting his bosses over him. Because when you lie for your bosses, even under oath, you get promoted to higher level positions. Even if you got to step over bodies to do it, Sergeant Johnson, you got to be ashamed of yourself. Such a creep, responsible for death and carnage on Tennessee roadways. Troopers, when you go to a wreck, think, yeah, Sergeant Johnson's partly responsible for this. And look at those mangled bodies. You know, it's horrible. And, you know, Sergeant Johnson took Charles Van Morgan off the road. He was out here making 2 and 3 DUI arrests a day sometimes. Cleaning up the roads, the fatality rate was lower when he was out here. But Sergeant Johnson wanted to get a promotion, and he did. He's a major now, I think. But listen what he did. He lied under oath. He committed perjury. Raised his hand and lied for a promotion for Colonel Trotz. And you say, well, those are blatant accusations. Can you prove it? It's real easy to prove, you know. All you got to do is read what they said on paper that's documented and compare it to reality, and it's a blatant lie. Now, what he did is, when they were terminating me, when they were taking my job from me with the Highway Patrol, and I was literally out making drunk driving arrests, they cleared me and put me at the driver's license station. I even made a drunk driving arrest from the driver's license station. That's how good I was at my job. But I had that incident where I drove past a wreck that I didn't see the car as a wreck. I seen the tail end of it, and it didn't appear like a wreck because he wrecked in such a manner where I couldn't see him, and the witness on the scene seen the same thing. Nothing. She said 6 times. And Sergeant Johnson called me out there they call me out there to internal affairs, or internal liars in Nashville. And troopers, listen to me, this is what they'll do to you. Other law enforcement agencies, they'll do this to you. Called me out there to Nashville, took me off duty on administrative leave with pay. And what they did was, I went out there and they said, you know why we're here, don't you? The first thing they did is They turned on a tape recorder, handed me a guarantee warning, signed the time and date. It's on recording, time and date. This time and date. It was in January, I think, and signed the time and date, and read the guarantee warning, signed it, which is agreeing that I would tell them the truth, and anything I said, that even if I'd committed a crime, they couldn't use that particular conversation against me. But I wasn't afraid to tell the truth because I hadn't done anything wrong. I signed the guarantee warning, and they, why we're here, and I wasn't real sure. I thought it was probably over the pursuit where somebody killed themselves, but they were investigating that, but I wasn't sure. A lot of people complained, and a lot of people complained. So I said it's probably over that pursuit, and he said that it was, and he asked me to tell him about it. I told him about it, what happened, explained, went through the pursuit in detail, and he asked me in that transcript, this Sergeant Johnson, Major Johnson now, got promoted for a line. He said in the interview, now this is after they started a start time and read me the guarantee warning, and nothing happened before that. As soon as I came in, they had me sit down at a table. They turned on a microphone, like I said, and they read me the guarantee warning, start date, end time. And then he said in the interview, he said, have you seen the video of the pursuit? That's what he asked me. It's black and white on the transcript, but he's recording it. And I said, yes, I seen it several weeks ago. And he said, how many times? And I said, I watched it right at that same night with a sergeant that was investigating it that same night. And that was the end of that conversation about me seeing the video. Now, he claims, and later we got in court, and that's what he said. You can tell that I didn't watch a video with him. I didn't watch it with him. If I did, why would I? Why would he say, have you seen it? If he had just seen it, watched it with him, he would have said, other than when we just watched it, or we just watched it, I would have said, I just watched it with you. But that wasn't said. So that's the thing about lying. When you lie about stuff, you have to be careful, because there's possibility of stuff that can uncover it. If you're telling the truth, you ain't got to lie about it. You're just telling the truth. Anything that looks like you're not telling the truth can be explained by the truth, even if they twist facts. But in court, when the case went to the administrative judge that they had handpicked to adjudicate in their favor, he raised his hand, swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help his God. He said, trying to incriminate me, trying to act like I'd seen the wreck and intentionally drove past it, he said that he brought me in the office, and me and him sat down and watched the video of that pursuit. That's what he testified to under oath. Excuse me, there's the bike lane, man. So that's what he said. Let me get me a drink of water here. So yeah, we got a bunch of viewers, and so he testified to a lie under oath, and it's very clear that it was a lie under oath, because the transcript, his own transcript, shows, let me show these people here. His own transcript shows, yeah, we still got a bunch of people. His own transcript shows he sat down and testified to the fact that he showed me the video and we watched it. And the reason why he said that is he also said that he put words in my mouth. You know, the words weren't on the transcript of the interrogation where they literally dogged and demeaned me for doing my job while they were sitting in the office. But he literally tried to put words in my mouth. Of course, they weren't on tape, so it happened before the tape was on. Yeah, he brought me in there, and me and him sat down and watched the pursuit, me and him together. And while we sat down and watched the pursuit, I agreed that I seen fire on the car, and he said I agreed to that. He's trying to say there was fire on the car. There might have been, I didn't see any. And I did not sit down with him and watch the interview watched the video of that pursuit with him that day, or any day did I ever watch it with Sergeant Johnson. Well, see, he raised his hand, lied under oath. He said that, and he was trying to say we sat down and watched it because he wanted to prove that there's fire on the car, that I even admitted to it. I never admitted to that. If it had been on fire, it would have, but that don't mean I seen it. But he was trying to add in evidence that never happened. So, and he said that under oath. When he said that, I wrote down to my attorney that I never said that. We never watched the video. And my attorney said to him, was questioning, said, so you're telling me here today that you and Mr. Trooper Morgan sat down and watched that video of the pursuit that he was in? Because that never happened. And he said, yes, that was his testimony. So he said, no, he's lying under oath. And he said, you're saying that happened? And the judge said, why are you harassing this sergeant? You know, protecting the trooper that was lying under oath. So even if you're telling the truth has no bearing on these people. And he's sitting there taking a trooper off the road that made more drunk driving arrests than anybody in the state, and he never did a damn thing. Has never done anything. What a crook! And we're paying him our tax dollars. He's lying for Tracy Trots to the bathroom. And I'm telling you all this to let you know why you should listen to me, my experience. And you know I was there. I know what happened. I did nothing wrong. Could have been killed that night, but you're just a piece of meat to this dirty government. And they'll step over bodies to become a Major Johnson. And that's what he is now. And I got to pay my tax money because he lied under oath, got rid of me. He's not out making drunk driving arrests, cleaning up the roads. He's responsible for the fatalities. So I was fighting drunks, and legitimately and legally, and now I'll fight you, Sergeant Johnson, you dirty liar, you perjurer. And that's the way they are. So that's why you should listen to me. I know when you see something, you're right there. And then the news media or a judge or the government says, no, that's not the way it happened. That's not it. That's the way it happened. When it's dark and they say, no, it's daylight. And it's 12 o'clock at night. The sun's not out. Even the moon's not out. And you say it's dark and the government says, no, it's daylight. You don't got to think or figure. It almost makes you question your reality. It's called gaslighting. And that's what these thugs will do. And that's fine. Gaslight me all you want to. Don't get people killed over and step over bodies. And the fatality rate has skyrocketed since 2011. That's why you should believe me. That's why you should listen. So go on with me in this fight, in this journey to get rid of these thugs. The way to get rid of them is get people registered to vote. And we'll start investigations if we ever get in public power or get somebody in public power and start throwing their nasty selves deadly in jail. So I've got some other stuff to cover. I wanted to talk about that today, why you should listen to me. So yeah, we still got a lot of followers. We've been on here a while. Let me read some of the comments and get across the street here, and then we'll get off here. Thank you all so much. We'll be back on here tomorrow morning at a little after 6:30. Try to wait till it's daylight so we're clear on the camera, and trying to get 1,000 subscribers. So like, share, comment, and oh God, like, share, and comment, and help us reach our goals of 1,000 subscribers or more in this fight against the resistance. We're not the resistance, they are, because this is our country, this is our nation, and they're resisting us, and we need to fight them. So join us in this resistance. Let's see how many. We got a bunch of people on here. God bless everybody. I pray. And I said that to everybody's door. At everybody's door, I said, God bless you, I pray. So I literally prayed for all the people that I knocked on the door if I seen them. So, and God bless you all, I pray. So join us in this fight. We'll be back on here tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning, or a little after. I'm going to read some of the comments here just in a second. And I've covered what this what this fight is about, and a few things. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Trying to get across this road and see if I can read some of the comments, and then we'll sign off and be back on here tomorrow. Join me tomorrow. Let's see, read the comments. Feel free to comment, like, and share. Let's see. Yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. It says private channel. It's not private. Where are you? Knoxville, Tennessee. It's still dark in Texas. Okay. This says private channel, sad. Corruption is rampant in many areas. Yeah, it is. Jesus Christ Ministries. It says here, let me turn this around where you can see me while I'm reading it. It says, okay, yeah, that's all the well, no, we can go scroll up here. Got a bunch of them. It says, boycott all U.S. knobs. Not worth let's make America suffer. Okay. There's some of them pretty dirty. Augusta Reyes said hi, Augusta. Solemn, okay, I can't read a foreign language. And message deleted. They don't step over the bodies, they just walk on over them. That's right, they sure do. Hello, Charles, hello. And says appearance and rhetoric is more important to the majority leaders and followers of them. Actual action is hard, takes effort, takes metrics, takes time. That's right, sure does. Pray first, all else if needed. Hey man, peace out, man. Okay, well said. Truth is the best way of life. That's right. See, now I was enjoying listening to you for a while, but then you had to go badmouth a man just because he likes to wear woman's clothes. What the buys for himself are his clothes, period. But he's a fraud, though. He doesn't tell you that he does that. That's right. But you know, I agree. If he wants to wear women's clothes, that's fine. But people should have known that before they voted for him. But Tennessee Vols suck. Ohio State rules. Well, it's another year, buddy. Go Buckeyes. Yeah, that's right. Where are you, Knoxville? It's still dark. Okay, and then there's the comments I already covered. Thank y'all so very much. Still got a bunch of followers. We'll be back on here tomorrow morning when it gets daylight, probably about 6:45. Maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit later. We appreciate the press, the megaphone. Help me fight these dirtbags in the government. They don't like this. They don't like this megaphone I got. And remember, God loves you, and I do too. Until tomorrow, thank you so very much.